Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to our beloved lecturer, Sir Azlan. So, this video is about our group presentation on Business Process Reengineering. We choose Urban Planning Department in Alor Gajah Municipal Council, which is MPAG. Before we start, let me introduce to my group member. I am Nur Hakimi and other is Muhammad Salman, Nur Ain Raihana, Nur Fatiha and Nur Hazika Auni. So, in this video, we are going to talk about the introduction of the MPAG, description of as is process, description of to be process, and conclusion about our work. So, the Alor Gajah Municipal Council is a public service oriented local authority or PBT that is the primary driving force in making Alor Gajah a developer and a beautiful district. The development of its administrative area has parallel of the overall development of the state of Melaka with a focus on industrial, tourism and agriculture sector. The presence of infrastructure also accelerates the inflow of local and foreign investors looking to invest capital and create jobs in the local community. So their vision is planning township development will guide the district progress toward the sustainable development, and their mission is plan, coordinated and control the use of and the development of land and the building within the jurisdiction of the local authority MPAG. For the internal and external customer, consists of department and internal units of MPAG. The Department of Urban Planning is responsible for the planning aspect of the administrative area by controlling the development and progress of land and buildings in addition to promoting physical and socio-economic development through the provision of the Act, planning rules and set guidelines. Before the action of other technical department like the building department, the engineering department and the property assessment and management department serve as the first point of reference in any development plan. While the external customer is composed of the public, urban planners, real estate developers, government departments and agencies as well as stakeholders in any physical and socio-economic development and programs implemented. The town planning department has three core process parts. The first section is the development plan section. It implements the core process of the department such as development planning, information management, preparation of planning and development plans, management and preparation of development plans, namely state structure plan or called RSN, local plan or RT, and special area plan or called RKK, management of land reposition and land application. The second part is development control and GIS division, such as preparation of planning reviews, management of a planning permission application until approval, preparation of reviews and management of KM plan amendment, title amendment and development phase amendment, park name and street name, application management, development case management related to OSC, subdivision committee and appeals board, geographic information system management. The third part is the Green and Sustainable Technology Division, such as the preparation of activity plans and green technology programs in PAG, information management and implementation of state-level green technology action, provision of advisory service regarding green technology, management of green technology committee meetings, and related.
Management of open space applications until notified by the state authority. Open space as defined by the Town and Country Planning Amendment Act 1997, Act A933, and in Section 2 is any land whether encumbered or not reserved or reserved to be reserved in whole or in part as a public flower garden, public park, sports field, and public recreation, place at the wind, a place to walk, or as a public place. The open space represents one of the development components during the application planning permission under Section 21 and Subsection 21 of Act 172. There are 7 the hierarchy and function of the open space outlined by Plan Malaysia, which starts from the lot playground, neighborhood park, local park, park urban, provincial parks, and national parks. The provision of open space is also in line with the Sustainable Development Goals SDG for SDG 11 Sustainable Cities and Communities, SDG 13 Climate Action, SDG 14 Life Below Water, and SDG 15 Life on Land. Next, I will describe the steps officers involved in the process, output, and time volume. The first process is to receive a list of public components area space for gazetting from PTAG. Second, prepare a site plan and inform the officials related to the availability or non-availability of lots of lands for publication. Third, check the acknowledgement plan (PA) for the land lot involved for publication in JUPEM. 4th, submit a Gazette application to PTAG with a letter of application, 2 copies of the acknowledgement plan (PA) and 25 copies of the site plan. 5th, check the Gazette number. Gazette date is for the site applied for after Gazette approval is obtained. 6th, notify the approval of the new Gazette to the officer for review. And the last step is records in the map info data and area list Gazette field. Next, I will explain the customer value, business value, and non-value activities. First, open space and recreation are interrelated. Open space is a space or site reserved for a purpose as stipulated by the Act, while recreation is an activity carried out anywhere open space. Secondly, open space and recreation are public areas used for leisure purpose that are not subject to any entrance fee and the provision of facilities. Gazette open space is important to avoid sites being used for development while having a direct impact on the level of sustainability and habitability of an area.
Here is the as-is diagram. Firstly, administrative assistant receive a list of public components for gazetting from the Land Office of Alor Gajah. Second is after administrative assistant receive a list and referred by Director Town Planner, the Assistant of Town Planner Officer has prepared a site plan and informed the officer regarding the availability or non-availability of the land lot for gazetting. Second, if there is availability of the land lot, the Assistant Town Planner Office will check AKUI plan or Plan AKUI for land that involve for gazetting as Survey and Mapping Department of Malaysia, which is Jabatan Ukur dan Pemetaan Malaysia JUPEM. In addition, the Assistant Town Planner Officer will submit a Gazette application to the Alor Gajah District Land Office, which is application letter, 2 copies of AKUI plan and 25 copies of site plan, and be reviewed by the Officer Town Planner. The fourth one is when the application been approved, the Assistant Town Planner Officer will receive the Gazette number, Gazette date for site plan by referred with Officer Town Planner. Next is when the application of Gazette approved, the Officer Town Planner will review and inform the officer. And finally, when the Gazette approval is approved, the Assistant Town Planner Officer will record the data in a map info, including a Gazette open space. And there is the end button. So for the visual diagram, the acknowledgement AKUI plan for Gazette open space lot is not available in JUPEM because the Gazette need a certificate plan from JUPEM to show the lot number and details survey of open space location. Next is the site publication should be in the line with the current situation. By KM Planning Authority, decision reserve the land as an open area and make a site visit must be undertaken to check the development has been implemented. The gazetting process goes through several processes and meetings that cause delay. Before Malacca State Land Committee meetings, the Gazette application must go through several meetings such MKKI meetings. Therefore, using a manual system for the gazetting process in area can take a long time to process. In fact, the limitation for gazetting process takes time to gazette the open space. This is the responsible person in charge. First is Director Town Planner, TPR Nurul Adawati binti Haji Ismail, a person that is responsible for maintaining, managing and reviewing the project. The second one is Officer Town Planner, Encik Muhammad Zaidi bin Amir Hamzah. Assistant Town Planner Officer, Encik Muhammad Nizam bin A. Rahman. Administrative Assistant, Encik Muhammad Rizwan bin Idris. The responsible is to planning and scheduling the project, managing and be responsible for each of project and ensure the meeting or project are completed.
I will explain about to be process. As each process, we have 6 steps in total. So in to be process, we cut it into 3 steps. The first step, PTAG gives details of the Gazette open space. And next step, get and review Gazette number, dates for site plan for plan applied after the Gazette approved, and last step, record in data map info and Gazette open space. And for the description of the to-be process, firstly, Land Office of Alor Gajah PTAG gazette the open space before hands over to the Town Planning Department. After the space was gazetted, PTAG give the details of the gazette open space to Town Planning Department. And next, Town Planning Department gets the details and review the gazette number and gazette date. And last step, Town Planning Department record and listed the gazette open space in data map info. The benefits of the to-be processes are the process long time of manual system for the gazetting process can be shortened and did not need to be duplicate or unnecessary process. For example, PTAG give the order to Town Planning Department to gazette some area and need to submit it back to PTAG to approve the gazette. PTAG should gazette the area themselves instead of passing the task to Town Planning Department. If they are lack of staff to do the task, they should hire more or transfer the staff that handling the gazetting process to PTAG, so they can have all the information they need to gazette the area in PTAG, and they can go through with all the process and meetings to gazette the area. Other than that, this to-be process benefits more to Town Planning Department, as this to-be process is reducing their work in gazetting the area. In as-is process, Town Planning Department handling the gazetting process from the start until the end, excluding the meetings within PTAG's gazette staffs. But in this to-be process, PTAG handling the gazette process from start till they have finished gazette the area and give the details to Town Planning Department to record the data and record and list the gazette open space in data map info.
There are two methods that this department can use to get the information, which is qualitative and quantitative. Firstly, qualitative measurement. Qualitative measurement is a way of gaining a deeper understanding of a topic. However, qualitative measures typically deal with textual data or words. As the example, the notification of gazette approval to officers for review. Next, records in map info data and gazetted open area lists. Next is quantitative measurement. Quantitative measurement is information or database on the quantities obtained using a quantifiable measurement process. As the example, the number of gazette applications in 1 year is to 8 to 10 applications. Next, there are 3 documents for the gazette application submission to PTAG. 4 factors are critical to the success of the project. One of the critical factors to success is a business focus. It focuses on all dimensions. Business reengineering entails much more than simply redesigning processes, and it is considerably more than simply introducing new technology or limiting the structure. The business focus of this company is to obtain approval gazette from state authorities that include many processes from assistant administration, assistant city planning officer, urban planning officer, and city planning director. For example, the processes are divided into 7 steps in obtaining the gazette, and it takes a few years to be acquired. Next, the crucial part of business reengineering is the starting process of transforming a dysfunctional organization into a learning, productive, quality-focused, and customer-driven. For instance, the company prioritized the list of public components, which is the open space for PTAG to provide the gazette. In this sense, MPAG will provide the availability, of the landscape plan to give and inform the appointed officers. Thus, MPAG can proceed with the rest of the steps. In contrast, if the assistant administration did not receive any list of public components, the MPAG will not provide the planning landscape and inform the appointed officers. Other than that, the methodology and project approach. Any re-engineering effort requires discipline and structure. The methodology must be systematic and fact-focused. It is much more than merely shifting organizational structure or changing a few jobs position. This explains the seventh step, which is the process of obtaining the gazette from the state authorities. The process must be thoroughly followed by sequence and those officers who are involved in producing and approving the document, so there will be no confusion among them. Lastly, business re-engineering must be customer-driven. The clients will be fully informed of the landscape detail as MPAG is in line with Sustainable Development Goals SDG for SDGs 11 Sustainable Cities and Communities, SDG 13 Climate Action, SDG 14 Life Below Water, and SDG 15 Life on Land. Hence, the clients will be receiving the benefits without doubts as their landscapes provide a good and secure environment as well as receiving the gazette from the state authorities. The company might face some problems in implementing the improved process. Firstly, due to the many gazettes received in just 1 year, the company will have difficulty processing the application. For instance, in just 1 year, the company received 8 to 10 gazettes. The application cannot be processed in a reasonable time frame. The next issue is the company had to deal with the unexpected circumstance. For example, during the outbreak of COVID-19, the open space application cannot be continued online because the application of gazettes need a stamp and physical documentation. The company cannot change the flow of the current business process because all the processes need to be done manually and not online. Finally, the company's flow business process is not that simple. This is because the flow cannot be changed into doing it online. They wish it can be created into a new system in a way that is different from the current ones. For example, generate the gazette certificate and create the mapping system. So, the staff of this project may not have difficulties adapting to the new process.